You know what? People have been telling me recently, I miss the old Patrouski, the 100k dry Patrouski, the shiny hunt 12 hours a day to never get anything on stream Patrouski. And don't worry, dear viewer, I'm here. I'm coming back, boys, to address these major concerns. We are back to shiny hunting, okay? Now, has anyone actually said these things? Absolutely not. If anything, more money-making methods. Please, storyline guide that. Gym rerun this. I know I have a lot to work on. I have a lot to do. But sometimes you gotta just play the game for yourself. Sometimes you gotta just do what you enjoy. And as silly as it may seem to a lot of people, what I enjoy is encountering the same Pokemon over and over and over again until it appears a different color. So I am going to load up my encounter counter, get that switch. We're over at a shiny Frillish today, dude. Underrated. Everything's an underrated spot in my book, but underrated spot. Beautiful, beautiful shiny Jellicent. Let's see if there's any on the GTL. This spot has 2 different shinies depending on gender, which is, it's very, wait. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Frillish, because these look the exact same. No, these are the exact same. What am I thinking of? Is it Frillish? Frillish different? Or is Jellicent also different dependent on... Let's go check. There's an Alpha Floatzel as well, apparently. They are... What are the odds, Racky Prince? Thank you. Someone in chat said they're actually just bugged on the GTL. So I'm not crazy. They are... Okay, they do have very different shinies. I believe... Male Jellicent is this like mint green, and then I believe the female Jellicent is like a purple. They're both good. They're both good. But I think I prefer the minty green. I prefer a minty green color. There's other purple shinies in PokeMMO, so your hordes are also going to look like this. Keep in mind, which is kind of funny to think about. They show up. People have come first time horde Frillish and are like, oh my god, shiny. I'm guilty. Because look at this. Because of the, it's the gender difference. It's the gender difference. Females are pink, or males are blue. So we're going to jump into this shunt today. It feels like it's been forever since I've just like hard shunted. I'm excited to see how many encounters I get. We're starting at 13,768 encounters. I am going to go check the Floatzel. I always get jump scared. Yeah. And we're going to be reacting to, I have a backlog of PokeMMO videos and content to react to today. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to jump into the game and play it the way that I want to and have some fun. I'll see you guys with any updates. Thanks for watching the PokeMMO stream recap. 2 more things to quickly discuss before we actually fully jump into things. Number 1, I have decided, I have made the brave decision. I am just going to continue the Unova storyline guide off stream. It's not you, it's me, okay? It's a skill depth. It's a I literally cannot focus when chat. I could simply ignore chat forehead, but I have such a problem with like, I really don't want to ignore Twitch chat. I actually feel guilty. So I'd rather just do that off stream and do other content on stream where I can actually answer your guys' questions, talk to you guys properly, and it's a proper stream, right? Secondly, I need to explain what synchronized Pokemon I'm using, what lead Pokemon I'm using. So I am leading with a bold synchronized Kadabra. Thank you for the sub, Shirak. I'll think it properly in a sec. A bold synchronized Kadabra. One of my 2016, I have like a whole collection of 2016. Not that it's super old, but it's cool to me. 2016 synchronized Pokemon. I think it's just when I bought them, honestly, for like catch events. Back when I played, back then. But a 2016 bold Kadabra. I went bold because the way that I check, if you don't know what nature to synchronize for when you're shiny hunting, one of the easiest ways is to check PvP stats. I went over to PvP stats, I went over to OU, and I typed in Jellicent, right? And I saw that the highest used nature was timid, and I said, that's fucking unhinged. I'm gonna go bold. I assume it's purposefully used right now to like outspeed, maybe like timid plus scarf. Ice Beam KO's Dragonite. If you're a PvP player, let me know in the comments. Why are people running Timid Jellicent right now? Why is this the most used? I'm really curious. Usually it's used to like counter something specifically, but typically Jellicent is a defensive Pokemon. Seeing it go Timid rank 1 is cool. I mean, I like to see that. It's a cool shakeup, but not what I want my Jellicent to be. So I'm gonna go the classic bold. It's a good question. Someone said Pokemon still doesn't have any shiny pity. Correct. Yes, that is correct. There's no pity system in Pokemon for shiny hunting, which is kind of like I think that's one of those things. If you want a pity system, there's no right or wrong. It's more of like, if you want that, I get it. I think implementing a pity system, I don't like the thought process of, oh, let's not add something because it hurts let's not make something easier because, oh, then the people who did it for years and years get fucked or whatever. As someone who's played this game for years and years, I don't care. As someone who's played it for years and years, I think changing the game for the better comes first. I don't care if it undermines my achievements in the past. My achievements in the past are my achievements in the past. I'm not like attached to them to that degree, right? I'm okay with power creep and I'm okay with buffing things. Good example is hordes, right? Prior to Time Swipe hordes, the game was way slower and way like shiny hunting without any hordes at all was the norm, right? And then all of a sudden, Time Swipe hordes made certain shunts become 66% easier, right? However, the big thing with hordes was they made EV training and XP training faster, and that's what we really needed. Yes, they made shiny hunting different and stuff, which, you know, makes sense and is fine, but like, the craziest part was like when casual players would have to spend 10 hours EV training a Pokemon, nobody did that shit. It was fucking like only hard EV training. People say like, oh, shiny hunting is only reserved for hardcore players, and it kind of is. Dude, not even 10 years ago. Yes, 10 years ago. 10 years ago? 9 years ago. EV training and XP training was reserved for hardcore players only. Like, you literally fucking couldn't do that, dude. It was so crazy. It was so long. So hordes is a good one of those changes where like, yeah, it undermined things, but it was a good change. It was better for the game, and it added longevity to the game, right? Having said that, I think adding a pity system to PokeMMO, I don't know why to think about it more. I honestly couldn't tell you why. I'll be honest about that. But I think adding a pity system might be too far. That might be one of those things where, like, adding a pity system 10 years later, it doesn't really make the game better. It's just like, it's not a right or wrong, like I mentioned, right? It's just a decision you make, but I think you do have to make that one close to the launch of the game, which is what Pokeforce is doing. Pokeforce plans to have a species pity system where if you've seen, so the shiny rate in Pokeforce, I believe, is planned for 1 out of like 22,000-ish, 1 out of 21. It's a very specific number, which I love to see. They've calculated things to the numbers they want. It's like 1 out of 21, 1 out of 22,000-ish. Pokeforce demo, reminder, Pokeforce demo is dropping April 29th on my birthday. I will be streaming it. I should be streaming it, hopefully live that day. That'll be fucking sick. So I'm really excited for the next Pokeforce demo. But they have a species pity system, which is how you would implement. You can't just do even pity system all around, because then what would happen is players would do like 29,999 encounters of Time Swipe hordes, and then go do like 1 Charmander egg and get a shiny. That would be stupid. If you don't know what a pity system is, a pity system, is basically like if you encounter enough Pokemon or go dry enough, you get a guaranteed one. It happens in, I believe, in old school RuneScape, they have a pity system for like a specific drop from KQ, from the Calphite Queen. It's been a while since I played, because you need like an untradeable drop from Calphite Queen for the achievement diary, and even that. Dude, the old school RuneScape community is pretty intense with updates. When that was introduced, people were pissed. And that was like, you only got the drop guaranteed, I believe, if you went 2 times over rate. And it was like an untradeable drop that wasn't worth anything. It was really just used for the achievement diary or whatever. Dude, people were pissed. People were fucking pissed when they made that. Like, and I understand why, because it kind of takes, as silly as it sounds, it kind of takes the, like, a bit of mystique out of the game. Yeah, but gotcha games do it a lot. There's a lot of arguments against pity systems being malicious and not actually beneficial to the players, because the more you shiny hunt, or it's like if you're like buying mysterious balls or swiping to shunt, right? It's like, oh, the more I spend, eventually I'll get something, right? That's kind of a malicious one that is used. So that's another whole argument, is like it encourages MTX. There's so many good back and forths, good arguments for and against a pity system in a shunting world. So I don't want to come off as like I'm personally opposed to it, but if a game, like I think Pokeforce is going to have one. Pokeforce is going to have one where, like, if you encounter let's be like, let's for example say it's a 1 out of 20,000 shiny rate, right? If you encounter 19,999 Pidgeys, the next Pidgey I think that will be shiny. I think that's the way it works, but I need to get confirmation from the Pokeforce devs. Don't take that as absolute fact. It's like species specific, which is at least the way to do it, and is interesting. But even then, it's not for everybody. I think I'm not a huge fan of the pity system, but if someone wanted a pity system, I wouldn't be like, wow, that's a ridiculous opinion. Like, it's a totally valid opinion to have either way, you know? What's the biggest dry streak you have seen for a single shiny? The infamous one was Karoshi during PokeMMO Shiny Wars. I believe he went around 74,000 encounters dry, around 475k. That's the driest I've ever seen that I believe to be legitimate. People claim insane numbers, but the Kuroshi was like a valued member of the community, and all of his timeline added up. Because it's kind of beautiful. It was during Shiny Wars. Otherwise, people probably wouldn't have believed him as much. But it was during Wars. Everybody could go watch him and spectate him, literally just cranking it hordes over and over again at the same spot. Like everybody was watching his progress. Every day he would like play for like 16 hours or 20 hours and go to bed with the right amount of encounters, and like, it all added up. Versus I've seen people who will like wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm 600k dry, guys, time to start the shunt, and then go to bed and be like, oh, I'm 700k dry now. And it's like, that's not possible. You literally can't get that amount of encounters in a day, you know? So it's pretty obvious when people are lying. Kuroshi is one that I genuinely believe in. He has a crazy story. There's a whole, I can't imagine what it does to your mind to go 475,000 encounters dry. It just, you doubt everything. They reached out to the devs to confirm, like, hey, was Kuroshi locked? And unless the devs were lying, which I think is, you know, unlikely, the devs said he wasn't locked. It was just a unbelievably rare, unlikely thing to happen. That's it. It was just really, 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 really crazy. That whole arc could like deserve a movie, because that was during Shiny Wars. Team Mr. ended up getting second place in that Shiny War, and not to like say the other team didn't deserve to win, because they definitely did and they played great, but there's an interesting thing there where like Team Mr. was like really close in points. I think like 100 points between or whatever, something like that, and Kuroshi, like, going that dry, it sucks. Kuroshi did everything he could have. He did more than what 99.99% of people would have. Most people would have fucking quit, dude. Most people would have quit. Well before. Most people quit at like 100k dry. Like, let's be honest, you know? To go 475k dry is like worse than waterboarding. It's like levels of torture. That's the hours involved. It's like levels of torture that are insane. I know it was a lot of eggs. There's a lot of times I have hordes, a lot of eggs as well. I have to ask exact numbers, but it's a whole saga, man. It's a whole thing. Dude, Ash Scrappy, this is a fucking lot, man. I always try to make it clear, guys. Please don't. Yeah, this is a lot of Pokeyen. Please don't send me stuff. I'd rather you keep your stuff. Like, it makes me happier. I'd rather, even if you're taking a break from the game, quitting the game, I'd rather you keep your Pokeyen and be able to come back to it and be able to like have incentive to play the game again. This is a ton. I'm not gonna open all these. I might open some for fun. I put the Ash Scrappy honestly once, but he said, hey Pat, I've been watching since Halloween 2022. I had a fun run, but my journey ends here. I haven't played for close to a year. I still watch stream though. That being said, I don't want my investments to rot for nothing, and always want to say thanks for the fun times on stream. Here's a little something clicking hunts. Dude, I don't know what's been happening. There's been some crazy generosity recently, man. It's been insane. This is crazy. I mean, thank you so much, man. I mean, some of this will go towards the prize box to give stuff out. This is a lot of Pokeyen. Take the free 50. This is insane. Just sell them all. I probably will. It'd be nice to have Pokeyen to prepare for next Shiny Wars. This is just crazy. Thank you so much, Ash Crappy. I mean, hopefully you come back to the game, but hopefully, or not, man. I don't know, like, whenever someone quits from a game, not even just Pokemon, any game, whenever someone quits from any, or moves, not even say, I don't like the, fuck the word quit. Quit is too, like, derogatory. When someone moves on, because it's normal in life, you move on, right? When someone makes the decision to move on from something, I always tell, you know, I hope you come back if that's the right thing for you, but I also fucking hope you do whatever you enjoy. Don't stick around playing PokeMMO if you find it insufferable and you don't enjoy yourself. We only have so much time on this earth, man. Go do things you enjoy. It's really, 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 as someone who loves PokeMMO, what I care about more is people playing the games they actually enjoy. So that's crazy, man. That's nuts. This is a great question. I'm gonna have to think about a little bit. Any suggestions on how to go about move octarinas and such on an Iron Man? I was thinking 1 per region, max 5, and you can buy via Pokeyen up region completion. Do I have to pick wisely? Opinions. I honestly haven't. Okay, maybe I'm crazy. This is what I think makes Iron Man so cool. What I would do personally, if I were an Iron Man account, okay, and I had to earn RP, personally, I would force myself to have to win PvP tournaments or catch events. I think that's the coolest way to do it. It's really difficult. Like, now you should employ whatever you want, right? Don't do exactly what I do. But if I were playing an Iron Man, you'd have to like win a catch event or tournament. It'd be like really intense. Not everybody wants it to be that. Like, the beauty of like an unofficial Iron Man mode is you can make it intense enough to your liking. And there's no shame. Don't feel shame in that, right? Like, do what you enjoy. Play the game the way that you enjoy. But I love, because people don't realize, I'm pretty sure you win free RP from PvP tournaments, correct? Yeah, RP. So I love the, like, even in 3rd or 4th place, I love the idea of like trying to like go for RP, trying to go for the XP reamplifier. That being like, because like it totally, wait, oh, it's so, the more I think about Iron Man, the more I want to fucking play it, dude. God damn it. It totally flips the spectrum of the game. On a normal account, RP items are the least respected, least respected, like most laughed at, like these are the least important items, least respected items on an account, right? On a fucking Iron Man, RP items would literally be the most like respected, like holy shit, he had to win, like you only get so many. They'll be like so precious, you know? They will be so precious. I feel like that would be one of the biggest like restrictions of the account. Trying to get the XP reamplifier on an Iron Man account would go bonkers. Because on a main account, like, oh, they must have credit card swiped, Lamau, like how embarrassing. But on an Iron Man, it's like, oh shit, he had to fucking win a PvP tournament or a catch event. Pretty sick, dude. It's a great question. I'm fairly new, 50 plus hours played. Are encounter counters needed to enjoy shiny hunting? That's a personal question. It may be for you. It may be. I strongly recommend it. I personally, like if there was no encounter counter in PokeMMO, I would not enjoy shiny hunting nearly as much. Like, but even back in the day when I shiny hunted a ton before the encounter counter, because it didn't exist back in like 2013, 2014, 2015, I would have a notepad document and I would uptick like every time. I would add little, I would up the number every time, every like 30 encounters or whatever. That's what I would always keep track of my numbers. That was what was fun to do. And like I feel personally, for me, shiny hunting is a fruitless grind, okay? 14,000 encounters, pog. Shiny hunting is what's known as a fruitless grind, in my opinion, which means if you wake up and you shiny hunt for 10 hours and you don't get a shiny and you go to bed, literally you gained nothing that day. Literally nothing has happened. Could you imagine going to work, working 10 hours, going home and not getting a paycheck? It would be, you'd be like, why the fuck, what the fuck happened? What did I do that? Like, it would feel terrible. That's hard, it's the worst thing. Or like going to the gym for 10 hours. Not that you would, that's a lot, but like more power to you if you do, but like, and go home, like see no progress, no gains. You'd be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, being able to see, adding an encounter counter gives you the ability to see a little bit of, even though it's not really progress statistically or logically, but like emotional, mental progress, right? It allows you to make you think you're making progress, which tricking yourself into making you think you're making progress is like what shiny hunting kind of all about sometimes, you know? It's fun. Helps you keep track of things. It's extra data, and it helps me enjoy the shunt more for sure. And I would recommend people do it. Here, I'm actually so curious. Someone mentioned, yeah, imagine the feeling of like phase 15 plus on like a Leppas shunt, right? So specifically, ZORUA was being mentioned earlier. For ZORUA, that's why I would say like phase 15. For the ZORUA shiny hunt, obviously you need a specific. Please go bring a reactive. You need a specific Pokemon, like reactive Weezing, to see the ZORUA hidden with its illusion. But most people know that at this point. The ZORUA shunt, you encounter like 20 phases, I believe, right? It's like 20. It's something like 20 phases, I believe. So let's do the math on this. The calculator's on top of my head. One sec. What's the math on this, right? So if Leppas, how much Leppas do you need for 1 times 3 shunt? Let's do that first. Each Leppa represents 6 encounters in a times 3 shunt. So you would do 30,000 divided by 6, correct? So you need 5,000 Leppas, okay? So now you do this times 20. So you need 100,000 Leppas on average for a ZORUA shunt. Now let's say Leppas, let's say you buy all these Leppas from a Leppa seller for 760 Pokeyen a piece, okay? That's pretty cheap. That's a pretty good price. Let's do times 760. You are looking at 76 mil. 76 mil. People don't realize how expensive this hunt is. 76 million Pokeyen. 2 times 3 horde for a shiny ZORUA on average. I feel like a lot of people start the ZORUA shunt without really realizing. When people say egg hunt, they're like, oh shit, that's, I know egg hunts are a lot, right? I know about that. But when people bring up the ZORUA shunt, I don't think people realize how fucking intense that hunt is. It is insane. Doing this Leppa math made me realize that I need Leppa berries. So shout out to Fly Happy. You can actually also get them 1, 2, 3. I need 30 stacks. What the fuck is this number? Are you just, are you just flexing how many you have? Wait, what is this? I need this is a lot of Leppas. I need 3,000 Leppas if you don't mind. I'll do 3,000 for 2,220,000, which should be 74k per stack, which seems to be the rate right now, according to. Thank you so much. So shout out to Fly Happy 1, 2, 3. Yeah, doing the Leppa math made me realize I need Leppas. So thank you so much, man. We needed to stock up for a while. Even that is only, so that's like 1 shunt worth. Thank you so much, Fly Happy. I think that's like 1 shunt. Well, plus I had some extra, but that's like, I need more. I actually need like way more. I don't want to use them yet is the thing. I want to start stocking up on Leppas and saving Leppas for Shiny Wars. That is, we're going to start prepping items for Shiny Wars like that. Things like Leppa berries, things like fossils as well. Those are always expensive. If I see any cheap fossils, I need to start slowly stocking up. I want to talk about yen though as well, but cheapest fossil be 9k is correct. I'm not gonna touch this. I whenever they get to like 6, 7k, I try to buy those up always personally, but fossils are expensive right now, dude. Fossil farming is probably amazing money. I always say it's a great newer to like intermediate player money making method. It takes a bit. Okay, this was pretty crazy. This is an Epoch video. It should be linked in the description. Make sure to go check him out, like him, subscribe to the video, etc., etc., and check out all the original sources. But this is pretty nuts. This was someone, in the title, someone lost a shiny RIOLU recently in the saddest way possible. They didn't even have a chance at catching it. It wasn't bad RNG. It was something even less fortunate, which sucks to see. Let's go ahead and watch what Epoch has to say about this interaction. It happens really quickly.
I'm showing a really insane situation that just happened.
The like laughs out of like pain. Like it's so real. It's so real. Now this didn't happen to Epoch, but he like reacts. He's reacting to a clip, and I'm reacting to him reacting to the clip. Infinite content.
One of my teammates just accidentally threw mud at our shiny RIOLU in the Safari Zone.
Threw mud.
Which is never something you want to do. So here's the clip of it. I've been told. This is by Pokeyen. I guess he witnessed this. This happen. He's in call with this dude named Energy. I guess they're both streaming.
I've seen Energy in chat. I know the name, so it's cool to see.
So here we go. He walks in.
It happens so fast.
The player's name is Bubbles WJH.
Happen to Bubbles. Here, watch this. It happens really fast.
Pokeyen might be lost in this clip for a second there. Okay.
Same.
He spectates very slowly.
Okay. Here's the shiny RIOLU.
Oh shit, it's real.
Oh my god.
Through mud.
It's a female.
No.
Oh, bruh.
No, it
Shiny RIOLU, female. For those who don't know, it's already a really rare shiny. Now, adding the Johto Safari Zone did make the RIOLU hunt a bit easier, but you can only hunt RIOLU during certain days of the week when it appears, and that's usually called out in certain discords. You kind of have to be on top of things socially to even be aware of when you can hunt RIOLU. And then it's much better to hunt RIOLU at night. Was it asleep?
Oh,
it's significantly better to hunt RIOLU at night because then you have a chance of it being asleep, which makes it a lot easier to catch it. This one was not asleep, I believe.
Oh,
it's female.
No.
Oh, bruh.
No, it ran. It ran.
They didn't even get to see the ball.
Yeah, like Epoch said, there was no Pokeball. They didn't see the ball. It was just the mud.
Because that happened so fast. He gets so lost here.
Yeah, he's gonna redirect. Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, this is. So apparently, I'll show the evidence later. Later on, it was found out that he dropped his controller. It didn't even like misclick. Like, this is one of the only arguments I've ever seen against. I think controller playing Pokemon seems really comfy. A lot of people swear by it and love it, but I don't know. You can like misclick on keyboard or mouse. I don't know if you can drop your keyboard or mouse unless your setup is unhinged, which is, you know, honestly base, fair enough. This might be one of the few. It's so niche. I'm not saying you shouldn't play on controller because of this, but it's a minus like 0.1 point against playing on controller. The ability to drop it like this and lose this is fucking insane. With throwing bait make it harder to catch. Yeah, for future reference, when you have a Safari shiny, it is almost always best to just throw balls. You don't want to throw baits. You don't want to throw muds, rocks, whatever. You just want to throw balls. That is like 99% of the time the best way to catch most Safari Shinies. Not always, I believe, but like almost always. Why do people shut in the Safari Zone? It's a lose-lose situation. This is the best way to do it. Even considering if so I think the math is, even if like, I think the chance to catch Riolu is like 40% or so. If it's asleep, it's like 40 or 60. Even if you lose like 2 Riolus, it is still faster to hunt it in the Safari Zone at like the 5% encounter rate, or it's a higher percent than that. It's the fastest way than versus like egging. It sucks that you lose them. Same with like Lapras, right? Even though Lapras has like I believe it's like a 20% catch rate. Like a 20% encounter rate, 20% catch rate. Something, it's close. It's not exact numbers, but it's close to that in the Johto Safari Zone. Even with that, even if you lose the like 4 Laprases on average before you catch one, it's still faster than egging, right? It sucks and it's painful, but Safari Zone shunting is a necessary thing. Even factoring in the fleas, it's faster than egging. That's how difficult egging is and how difficult other options are, right? There's a good argument for like, I always say shunting is all mental. There is a good argument where if you're someone who like would be destroyed from losing a Safari Shiny, it's better to just egg even if it's more expensive. The money is another big thing. It costs like 150 mil, 180 mil to egg, whereas Safari shunting isn't free. It adds up over time. It's like 15 mil or so usually on the way to a hunt. Depends. It depends on like, how long you have to go. But the Pokeyen costs out of paying the 500 yen every time to enter. But it's just the most efficient way. It's still just the best way, even though it is so painful. And it gets you some sick clips. So keep Safari shunting, guys. Get those clips so I can react to them on stream. Thank you so much. Obviously, I'm just kidding. Please don't Safari shunt. It's going to hurt you. I can say for me personally, the more OT shinies I acquired, the more open I was to Safari shunting, right? If you asked me when I had 0 OT shinies, would I ever Safari Shunt? I would have said, oh my god, no, of course not, right? I would never, I wouldn't even go in the Safari Zone for catch events because I feared the risk of a shiny, right? If you ask me that same question at 5 OTs, I'd be like, okay, maybe I'll go there for a few hundred encounters for like a crazy like catch event or whatever, right? Then if you ask me at like 10 OT shinies, I was like, fuck it, we ball, let's go for content. Like, it's the more OT shinies you get, the more I think you're open to like, fuck it, I have 50 OT shinies. If I lose one in the Safari Zone, honestly, we're like, the more you shunt, the more you realize you're there for the journey and not the destination, and you actually don't mind it. As crazy as that sounds, and it would still be so painful, but I think the more OTs you get, the more you're open to losing one, which is kind of wacky, but it's true from my experience. I think I might have mentioned this vaguely in recent stream recaps, but I want to talk about this again because I feel like it's an important thing. Something I want to work on recently is getting back to making consistent money-making guides and showing newer players consistent money-making. If you aren't aware, consistent money-making methods include things like trainer reruns, gym reruns, and like Ditto farming, okay? No matter what RNG happens, you'll make good Pokeyen, trainer running, gym running, or E4 running, right? And then catching Dittos. Dittos are super consistent. I think recently, when you get to end game, consistent moneymakers aren't actually that efficient or good for me to do, if that makes sense, right? So what happens is I end up doing a lot of like bid breeding for profit, where it's like, oh, I made 600k Pokeyen within an hour because I know how to breed for profit and I know how the market works and all these things. But there's a lot of requirements there. Sometimes I get too deep in the end game of PokeMMO because PokeMMO is a very dedicated player base with a lot of endgame players who watch my videos and critique things and say like, I want more. I want to see, this is terrible money per hour. Patrouski, show me a better one, or show me this and show me that, which I try to take feedback very, very well. So I try to do that, but then I neglect the beginners, and there's so many beginners right now, and there's always going to be more beginners than endgame players. And one of the hardest, I'm not trying to complain about, I love being a content, I love my job, right? But one of the things you have to factor in as a content creator is balancing the amount of endgame content you make and the amount of new game, right? Intermediate really gets left by the wayside probably the most, because you kind of just, it's a weird little in-between middle child situation. But like balancing endgame content, how much endgame content you make, how much beginner content you make is probably the thing that I want to work on. I want to do a lot more beginner content. I want to do a lot more beginner focused content coming up and focus more on, hey, Ditto farming isn't the best Pokeyen, and it's not 300k per hour. It's not, 400k. It's not crazy money, but it's so consistent. And most people just want to feel like they're making a lot of new players. It sucks to make a breed for profit, spend all of your money. Like if you have like 400K as a new player and you spend all of it on one breed and then you're just sitting there waiting for that breed to sell, that doesn't feel like a good money making method. Even if you sell that breed for 600K and you make like 200K Pokeyen in like half an hour's of work, it doesn't feel good because you don't have any capital left over to actually play the game. New players need consistent money-making methods that just let them build their capital, and then you can do the breeding for profits and flipping once you have like 10 mil cash, right? But you need to do that trainer. Like I always say, I did gym reruns. I started every single stream at, is it Mistralton City? What's the Nakreen? I started every single live stream at Nakreen City in the library in front of that gym, and I started every stream with a gym rerun for like 2 years, maybe like a year and a half. For so long, and that's how I built up my capital, right? And I think it's good to get back to that and show people how to build up from scratch that capital. This is a fantastic question. If you were to suggest one Pokemon to catch for profit, what would you actually consider? There's two. I can give you 3 different ones off the top of my head. Number 1, if you want consistency and you're a newer player, Dittos. We talk about Dittos for sure. We talk about that. If you want a bit more variance and the high variance, high variety, so there's turbo consistent, which is Dittos. There's decently consistent, but also has some variety, which is Ninkadas. Ninkadas go for 3K a piece because people need them to shiny hunt Shedinja, right? So they usually go for like, yeah, 3K a piece. You can sell these to other players as Ninkada boxes for cheaper, which you definitely should do. You'll make more money. And then the third one, if you want the high variance catching for profit, is Torkoal. I have caught Torkoal. It depends on the market, but like right now, Torkoal's really good because Torkoal just got moved down to UU. If I go search a Torkoal with 20 plus HP defense, just those 3 stats on the GTL, what's the cheapest one cost? 15K, 13K? That's crazy. If I do 20 plus, which it needs usually, cheapest one is 18K for a 4 times 20 plus. That's insane. That's unhinged. What's the cheapest drought Torkoal? Usually that has some value as well. I have done so many. I think I've caught Torkoal for. I think Torkoal is the loop for 1 hour that I've repeated the most because it's so good. I think I've done catching Torkoal for profit like 3 times on the channel, and the least money I ever made. Any drought Torkoal is 6K. Any shit. The cheapest drought. Even there's only 2 listed. And then they go up to 6,800, right? 7K for a random Torkoal that's insane. Because the reason why people always, why are they that price? You should understand why something is that price. You don't need to as a new player, to be fair, but as a intermediate to veteran player, you should understand why something is that price. You understand will it actually sell for that, right? The reason why Torkoal, you can see these sell because they've all been listed within the past 5 hours, right? The reason why drought Torkoal sells because people need low-level drought Torkoals to start gym rerunning, which is the best consistent moneymaker in PokeMMO, right? For the average player. So yeah, Torkoals are crazy, man. Torkoals are one of the best go-to catching Pokemon for profit, but people don't do them. People always say, Patrouski, you manipulate and crash every market, bro. Because when that it looks like that, it does crash for a week or 2 at a time. It's easy to say that. People don't bring up when I make fucking 50 catching Torkoal for profit videos and the market is still insane. Like, what are we doing? It's easy to like point out the examples where that is true, but it doesn't always happen. People think I have way more sway on the market than I do. Now, do I have a sway? I do. I try to acknowledge. I'm not an ignorant content creator. I'm like, oh yeah, I have no sway on the market. That would be insane. That'd be asinine, right? I do have a sway, but I also don't have a manipulation. Maybe that's the right way to put it. I sway the market, yes. Do I manipulate or like, could I control it? No, dude. To believe that, you have to believe people are stupid, that markets are dumb. They're way more complicated. People are smart. People buy things for right reasons. Yeah, hopefully that explains things. Go catch Torkoals are great, man. Dittos, Torkoals, and Ninkadas are the top 3 catching for profit I'd probably recommend right now. Okay, here's one quick example of why consistent moneymakers are so important and so good, and why I recommend doing things like I recommend like catching Dittos and trainer reruns and gym reruns to new players way more than breeding for profit and flipping as a new player. Those things require game knowledge. Okay, I see a lot of people. The amount of times I see a new player who's like, "Yo, I bred a 3x31 Breloom for 60K or whatever, maybe 80K, not 90K for like this, right?" and it won't sell. It won't sell. What do I do? It won't sell. And if you're a newer player, you might see this Breloom and be like, you know, why isn't that? What's the problem, right? Any intermediate to endgame player sees this Breloom and is like, oh, that's useless. What happened is you bred 2 times. You bred special attack and attack onto a Breloom. Breloom doesn't need that. You have to understand, a lot of new players will do breeds for profits or try to just sell price Pokemon in general, but don't understand why it's priced that way, which is, you shouldn't know as a new player. How do you know? You can't gain knowledge you've never been taught or gain knowledge that you haven't had the time to learn. I'm not blaming the new player for that. It's more of like a, hey, this is why I recommend doing more consistent money management methods than having to price check, because price checking Pokemon is difficult, right? There's 600 or so Pokemon to learn about, and you have to learn all the stats, all the varieties, all the different PVM sets, PvP sets, storylines, etc., right? This Breloom is going to have a really hard time selling, and probably not sell for a very long time, if at all, because it has inflated value that is irrelevant. 31 Spatak does not matter on a Breloom. No one is ever going to use this thing as a special attacker. Look at its base stats. It has 130 physical attack, 70 speed, and 60 base special attack. Breloom cannot utilize its special attack in a positive way. When you have this 31 Spatak, it's not increasing the damage on any of its moves. Rock Tomb, Drain Punch, Bullet Seed, etc. This seems simple to a lot of us, but a lot of new players I see get this wrong. Well, they'll breed a Breloom like this and reverse search the price and be like, oh wow, 120k, that's correct. Even if this is a correct, it's not gonna sell well. This is a really slow sale that might sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks. Understanding what sells, why it sells is so crucial. So I really recommend avoiding, don't just breed stats on a Pokemon willy-nilly. You have to really think about things and understand. When I go to breed something for profit, I think, what is a really like used Pokemon that has really what's demand? What is a mon with high demand, right? Breloom is one of those, but Breloom has high demand if it's like 25 plus in attack and speed with like adamant nature. Now, why is it in high demand with those stats? Because catching Breloom, or a Breloom for catching, is the best catching Pokemon in PokeMMO. Right? So these will cost you 80k, right? But that 3 times 31 is irrelevant, right? Now, something else I see a lot of new players make the mistake of is including stats in the reverse price check when they aren't relevant. We'll stick to the Breloom example, okay? If I price check like this, right? The cheapest Breloom I see is, let's do with defenses, right? If I price check like this, the cheapest Breloom I see, let's go back. We can do both. If I pressure like this, the cheapest Breloom is 78k. If I throw in, oh, but it also has 20 plus special attack, because it does, but that's not relevant. If I throw this number in, a lot of new players think, oh, I'm more accurately price checking my Pokemon. No, you're not. You're making it more complicated. You're making it more obtuse. No one is looking for a Breloom with 25 plus attack speed and 20 plus. It's not used for that. It would be like, if you built a bicycle in real life from scratch, and then you added a fucking basket on the back of it and fill it with grape jelly. And like, let's say a normal bicycle cost $100, and you paid for like $20 of grape jelly, and you try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace, and we're like, yo, I'm selling this bike for 120 bucks. It's a normal bike, but it also has grape jelly. Nobody wants grape jelly on their bike. It makes no sense. It's the same with Pokemon. You have to understand why someone wants to buy something. So don't make this mistake as a new player. Don't breed IVs, or don't price check IVs that don't actually matter towards the use of the product, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. It's a good lesson to learn. A lot of people will sell something for a totally wrong price check and then be like, blame them, be like, oh, the market's so slow, Patrouski. Like, how are you making any money? Like, I have stuff that's sitting there for weeks. And sometimes that happens, but more often than not, if something is not selling in PokeMMO, I would say 95% of the time it's due to a personal, and it's the same with me. I would say most of it's going to be personal error. It's human error. 90% of stuff that I list sells. However, 10% doesn't sell. And 9% of that, which is 90%, 9% of that 10% is human error. I mispriced it. And I've been playing this game for 9,000 hours. And I'm saying that 9% of stuff that I list after is mispriced. It's really, really difficult. It's very, very, very complicated. And you're also trying to like do it as quick as possible, right? So there's a lot of factors in there. So hopefully that makes sense. That was a great question. Somebody in chat sparked that that rant. Is there any way to tell the catch rate of my repeat ball? That's a great question. I wish there was. I don't think so in game. For those who don't know, the way repeat ball works is the more Pokemon you catch of the same species in a row, it increases the catch rate by like 0.1, right? So repeat ball starts at the same rate as a Pokeball at 1.0, and then it slowly rises. If you catch 15 Pokemon of this, like 15 Dittos in a row, for example, if you catch one Whismur, it breaks it. But if you catch 15 Dittos in a row, it will raise the catch rate to 2.5 times, right? But you can't, there's no way to track that. Like, I don't think you can like catch, if you catch 5 Dittos, you can't go hover over repeat ball and then have it say 1.5 times. You have to just manually track it, which sucks. That's a really good like quality of life update to have an in-game like hover over repeat balls, and it should say like current streak Ditto times 5, right? That would be sick. That's an easy quality of life IMO. Good question. Has this ball ever been useful? I get to teach a new player PokeMMO history. Let's fucking go. Repeat ball used to be the most broken Pokeball in PokeMMO. And it's still useful now, but it's not. Repeat ball was actually made to be dog shit for a while, but now it's good at Dittos. Though I think the only place repeat ball is really used is at Dittos, because why did I type Ditto? The strat now is at Dittos, you use dust balls to catch 15 Dittos in a row, which cost 13.50 Pokeyen a piece. And then you switch to repeat balls, which have the same catch rate as dust balls in a cave, but they cost 100 yen less. So there is a use for them. You save 100 yen per Ditto catch, which adds up if you're a big Ditto farmer. However, repeat balls used to work where I believe repeat balls used to be insane. I have to go check. I don't know if it was 2.5 times or 3.5 times. It might have been 3.5. Repeat balls used to be if you had the Pokemon caught OT in your Pokedex. So if you have a complete Pokedex, it just catches every Pokemon with a 2.5 or it might have been 3.5 times catch rate. Repeat balls were broken. Like all you would do is you would complete your Pokedex, which was a lot back then, but like you would complete your Pokedex and you would just farm everything with repeat balls. They also used to cost less, I think. Repeat balls had like the craziest catch rate. It was bad. Repeat balls were the net ball before net balls, and then net balls are now nerfs, and now net balls aren't net balls. Does that make sense? So repeat balls were fucking busted, and it destroyed the. It was very homogenous. Is that the right word? Every time you farmed anything, you would just use repeat balls. You would never once sit down and think, oh, I'm doing this, so therefore I'm going to catch events, so therefore I'm blah, blah, blah. Nope, repeat ball. No matter what you're doing, just catch the Pokemon OT once with an Ultra Ball, and now you just repeat ball for the whole time, right? Once they nerfed repeat balls, into the ground. Repeat balls went from being the strongest Pokeball in Pokemon. It's why I have 600 of them. I have 600 because back in like 2021, I bought a shit ton. They were the best, and now they're terrible. Well, now they have a use. They have a niche use, which is perfect. But repeat balls were unusable for a while. I think they were 1,500 Pokeyen for a bit with this effect. So they were literally unusable. They went from being the best Pokeball in Pokemon to the worst overnight, right? And then they buffed net balls, and then net balls became broken. Net balls went from 2.5 times catch rate to 3.5. But for a while, it was like, okay, you would think about what Pokeball you would use. Like every Mon, you would use a different ball, and then net balls got buffed. And then it was like, it went from, okay, repeat ball everything to net ball, soak in net ball everything. Net ball was really broken. And now, post netball nerf, we're back to the interesting, diverse Pokeball metagame, where it's like, oh shit, I'm gonna catch a shiny Frillish. I could use a netball here. I could use a I can't quick ball because it's 5 times my forward, but like, there's like a timer ball depending on the amount of turns. Like, nowadays, when you go to catch a Pokemon, there's a lot of thought process that goes into what should I use, which I think is really beautiful. It's a more engaging style of gameplay. You should have to think a little bit before at least farming something in mass. So yeah, the Pokeball metagame is very healthy right now and very good. But when repeat ball was broken, it was broken. And when net ball was broken, it was broken. Yeah, what balls are the best to use now other than Ultra and Dust? Bro, everything. Ultra Balls might be one of the weaker ones. Like everything has a use. You use Pokeballs during a lot of catch events. You Quick Ball if you want to win a catch event hardcore. Great Balls are good for certain like Ditto farming methods and other catch events. Dust Balls are good for Ditto farming. Nest Balls are used for certain catch events and certain farms, maybe like Nincada. Literally every ball is used somewhere. Like Timer Balls are the best for alphas. Like, it's really balanced now. You use every type of ball at every situation. So there's some that you don't, like Heal Ball Dream balls are sometimes used at Dittos or like certain catches in the middle of alpha catches before you get like the long timer for timer balls. Heavy balls are used by some people for Dittos. I don't recommend it. They're way too expensive to be profitable, but some will use them. Level balls, level balls could be used though. A Pokeball, which is excellent at capturing for the same level as used. Level balls might be underused, but I don't know how much they cost. That's like another, I think, Johto ball. Heal ball is one of the weaker ones. Heal ball has been discussed about possibly being reworked. They're kind of okay in like a Nuzlocke, but that's like the main. Heal balls just heal up one's HP upon being caught. I think heal balls for Nuzlocks is like the best use. Which maybe that's fine. Maybe that's fine. That's all they need, you know? People use fastballs. Dive balls are used for certain phenos like Alomolas. Like, literally every Pokeball has a use in PokeMMO. Luxuries and Premier Balls are the coolest looking Pokeballs, so they're used for breeds, true and real. Yeah, most balls have a use nowadays, which is amazing. Someone asked if I'll ever do another Pokemon Nuzlocke in another region. I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. If I were, I'd rather do something like a Pokemon Iron Man or a hardcore Nuzlocke. Like make it a little bit different and like kind of actually have it be interesting enough to do it again. I don't want to just do another Nuzlocke on like a different region. You know, it's not really exciting enough for me personally. I love Nuzlocke, but I don't like doing them personally, if that makes sense. It's a really cool piece of content, but it's not one that I love to engage in all the time. When I recorded that Nuzlocke, it was a really, really big deal. It's a lot of people look back and are like, I get comments all the time. I hate comments on that. Being like, this is not a real Nuzlocke. Like, you used X items, like, you know, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. That was literally, at the time, the first ever recorded PokeMMO Nuzlocke. It was literally the first ever PokeMMO Nuzlocke beaten with proof. And I fully believe that there are many people who have beaten it before me who just didn't record it in proof, which is, you know, it's rough, but like, it's not, I'm not a good Nuzlocker. It's not wise to do it, but it was the first one ever, right? And the amount of people who are like, this is fucking a shit Nuzlocke. It's like, you go try it. It's literally no one did it before me. Like, recorded it, right? Which sucks to be shit on for that, right? But anyways, what was my point? My point being, I want to go back and make it interesting. And it's my point was that it's cool because nowadays, dude, I see people streaming Pokemon Nuzlocks all the time, which is fucking awesome. Back then, people didn't do them. Back then, it was not a common thing. They weren't done. The people that did, it was like a handful of people that did them and just beat them for their own enjoyment privately, which is awesome. But nowadays, if you go check the Pokemon Twitch section, there's almost always someone streaming a Nuzlocke, which is awesome and fucking cool. And they're like, we've come a lot further on them. But back then, it's a product of its time, for sure. Honestly, in my opinion, it's super under talked about. I meme on legendary hunting a little bit because it's kind of not a very engaging style of gameplay. However, legendary hunting might actually be the best converter of newer players to like intermediate to endgame players that exists, right? A lot of new players or casual players don't really care about grinding at PokeMMO endgame, but they also might. A lot of casual players love legendary Pokemon, right? So they want to go for it. And a legendary hunt might be the average player's first like real grind that takes like 15 to 20 hours on average, right? I got my Zapdos on accident. Never mind. No, I'm like, no, you know, on average, I think a legendary hunt, as much as I meme on, and much as the devs have talked about not wanting to implement any more or many more roaming legendaries, because even the devs have said that they don't really like the mechanic. It's too like stale, right? It's just running back and forth. Even worse than shunting, in my opinion. But it might be like, it's a really good entry method grind. It's like a 15 to 20 hour grind, which is a lot of time for the average, a ton of time for the average person. Most people play a video game for like 8 hours maybe and then move on. So that's a lot for an MMO. That's like it's a pretty short grind. But that's for an average gamer, you know, so it's a lot. It is. It's important to acknowledge that, right? But it's a good, someone might do the legendary hunt and fucking hate it in the moment and then finally get it and be like, wow, looking back, that was actually kind of fun. And then they might try shiny hunting, you know, or try EV training or XP training. I think hilariously, roaming legendaries might actually be one of the better end game conversion playstyles in the game, similar to what I hope permanent raids will do when those release. So a little glazing on roaming legendaries for the day. I haven't heard anybody make that positive argument for them. Yes, I want more legendaries that you can catch after a boss fight. I am not a developer and I don't have any, you know, secret communication with them. If I were to guess, I feel like that is what they want to do in the future. things like the Jirachi was that, right? Jirachi, Alpha Suicune, right? Heatran, the only permanent raid in the game. I feel like the devs want to move in the direction. This was teased all the way back in 2018 when they mentioned dungeons, and they mentioned the idea of legendary Pokemon being a reward from completing dungeons, which never came to be. But it wouldn't surprise me if dungeons are what just turned into raids along the way. You know, I feel like that is the future of PokeMMO, is doing difficult PVM boss fights and raids like that give you the reward of a legendary Pokemon, which I think is a really cool way to do it. I think that's probably the best way to do it that I've seen. The devs seem to agree with that. The player base seems to decently agree. I will say, most PokeMMO players don't do raids. And I don't know if I would either if I wasn't a content creator. Raids are cool, and I'm glad I do them, and I'm glad that honestly being a content creator encourages me to do them. And I'm going off of like personal analytics, but like a lot of my raid videos and other raid, I'll watch other raid content. It's some of the lesser viewed guides on YouTube. My videos, Cavs, everyone else's, you know, like when I go watch a raid guide, I'm like, wow, this has like shockingly like lesser views than other money making methods or other guides do. Because it makes sense. Raids are like end game content, or they kind of are, but they also can be more intermediate. Like during the Lunar New Year event, like 14 raids. Those we've done twice in a row. We know what to expect. And to be fair, the longer raids exist into the game, I'm sure the more people will come around to them. But I'm getting a little worried. I don't mean to be pessimistic, so I try to be mostly optimistic, but I'm a little worried that permanent raids won't do what I want them to do. I think permanent raids, I've always thought this for years and years. I've always thought that permanent raids are the most important update to add to the game to give players an end game piece of PVM activity to engage with and give them a little bit of a direction to get into the end game, right? But maybe, yes, like I agree, Rumel 100%. Maybe, but I've been really sad to see. I feel like raids aren't as popular. I don't think many people are doing raids, but maybe it's because they're not end game content. It is worlds harder to do a raid and way harder to be motivated to do a raid when it's only available for 14 days and you have to fucking buy, breed, catch, EV train, IV breed, like prepare these Pokemon, learn the strategies, and then also do the raid. Like, you have to do so much. Like, within a 2-week time period, you have 2 weeks to do like 14 raids, and you have to prepare all these Pokemon for all of them. That's a ton, dude. I think a lot of people just look at that and shrug and say, I'm not even gonna try, which I think is so fair, you know? I hope that in the future, I'm a little worried that permanent raids aren't what the player base wants based on the viewership and stuff, and the people that I see attempting them, and the amount of shamans and stuff caught. I'm hoping that once they're permanent, people will be more interested, and I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that it helps. The biggest problem in PokeMMO, it's the same problem we've had for 10 years, and we'll always work on it. Well, not 10 years, but like 5 years. The biggest problem with PokeMMO is most players play the game, finish all the 5 storylines, and then just move on. You know, like you beat the 5 storylines, and you don't really know how to transition to endgame. There's no direction, and you quit the game. This happens all the time, and that should always be the majority. Like 90% of players should play PokeMMO for the 5 storylines, or you know, somehow for like just 1 storyline or whatever. But like 90% of players should quit before endgame. I would say a good conversion. I'm no developer, so I'm kind of guessing numbers, but I would guess a good conversion for endgame players is like 10%. If 10% of your player base becomes endgame players, I think that's really good. And we should aim for that. You know, not like a crate, but like aim for that. I do think that right now, total guesstimation, I would guess that percentage is at like 1%. I think PokeMMO is lucky enough to get a ton of new players constantly, but most of them don't transition to endgame, and it's difficult. And it's like a space that I myself and a million other amazing content creators have been trying to fill, but we need help from the devs. We need help from some sort of go-to. I think of like Chambers of Xerix in old school RuneScape, right? Or even like Slayer. Slayer is a thing in old school RuneScape that tells players what to go do a little bit. You think of like PVM in an MMO, like, oh, just fighting monsters. How do you know what monsters to fight, right? Slayer in old school RuneScape addresses that problem. It tells you what to go fight. And I think what that does is it teaches you all the locations of the monsters. It teaches you what monsters have what profit per hour. It tells you to do a thing. You earn XP in that skill, Slayer or whatever, and you learn alongside of it, right? It would be like if we had something in PokeMMO that was like, hey, go catch 10 Dittos and I'll give you 5 Ultra Balls, right? And it's like, oh shit, well now, then that will teach you how to catch Dittos. Where are Dittos at? Go catch 5 Bagons. Go shiny hunt 1 Bagon. Go shiny hunt 1 blue shiny, right? Little tasks like this would really teach people a ton about the game while also like giving them direction, which I think is really, really needed in PokeMMO. A beginner quest system, or I've always rooted for, and I think achievement log. I think there's so much content in PokeMMO, like infinite content, but people don't know what to do or how to do it. Or what they enjoy. And they don't know where to get. The biggest problem is they don't know where to get started. You know, I think something like a beginner quest. I think an achievement log is better in my opinion. But some sort of quest system or achievement log is probably, or hopefully permanent raids acting as that Chambers of Xerix, acting as that endgame piece of PVM content that's just default. You beat the 5 storylines, you go do raids. That's what everybody does. That'd be a great thing. Hopefully, raids does that for PokeMMO. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, this is actually fucking tragic. Okay, it's really easy to meme on someone who makes a mistake and loses a shiny, but don't. It's toxic. Okay, don't. They already fucking lost it. They, you know, just because someone makes a mistake doesn't mean they need to get flamed. Anybody can make a mistake like this. I should have lost many shinies. I got lucky, you know, but this player lost a shiny Ditto because they, I believe they led with a synchronized like Kadabra or Alakazam. And the Ditto transformed into it, and they didn't switch out, and it got access to teleport. And the shiny Ditto used teleport and teleported out of the fight. It sounds dumb, but it's easy to make a mistake like that in the moment, man. Your emotions are flying when you get a shiny. This is just fucking sad. And shout out to Caleb. This is from Caleb. This is the full username. Dude, much love to you, much respect to you. Hopefully you get another shiny Ditto within 3,000 encounters or less. Best of luck to you, man. You don't never want to see this to anybody. That's fucking brutal, man. Thanks for sharing your story. I'm sorry this happened. Nightmare fuel. Yeah, exactly. I think we had a pretty damn good stream today, fellas. I had a lot of fun. We had a lot of things to talk about today. A lot of really amazing topics. Great questions from chat. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching another stream recap. I will see you guys tomorrow and for many more days down the line up until probably Saturday or Sunday. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Hopefully something today was helpful or additive to your day and your PokeMMO experience. If not, dislike it. Subscribe to the channel for YouTube videos every single day about PokeMMO. Discord's down below if you're interested in that. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo donations, if you can afford them, really does help me, allow me to be here. But don't even blink about it. Don't think about it if you can. It's not a concern. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy PokeMMO. I'll see you guys later. Peace, Reno. Yo, Patrouski here, and I wanted to thank you personally for watching the video until the very end. I really, really appreciate that. And if your name is on this list, thank you to the moon and back because you allow me to even make these videos by supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.